Hopefully it doesn't go.
1, 2, 3. We're live. 7 seconds. It's 1 o'clock somewhere. That's our motto.
1:33 here.
It's 1:33 here. I don't know where. It's probably not really 1 o'clock somewhere because, it works on the hour. But it's close. It's close to 1 o'clock somewhere.
Somebody with a broken watch, it's 1 o'clock.
That's right. Even if your clock is broken, it tells the right time twice a day.
That's right. So it is 1 o'clock in somebody's mind.
So just
go with that.
You and I are the only ones here. No one's watching yet, so we can get our bad jokes out of the way.
Pick our nose.
Pick our nose. I don't pick your nose because they'll see it on the replay.
I'll just itch my nose.
They can go right by the corny jokes, but they're gonna see us pick our nose.
About me because my nose itches.
And my nose is running, and it's just like wah, all the things.
All right.
So I'm going to let you into one person is watching. It's Shannon. Hi, Shannon. Thank you for joining. I'm going to, I don't know what I'm going to do.
The mic is muted here.
The mic is muted, which is what we want.
Okay.
Oh, the camera's muted too. Okay. We don't want that. And we want to turn the camera to the back. Okay, so now,
I can record you.
I'm gonna
and you're
that little for now. So this is what people see. So they see this big and that little.
Okay, got it.
And when we get into the project, sorry, you guys, Shannon, whoever else might be watching, hello, good to have you here. We're going to continue what we started last week. So if you were here last week, you witnessed, could you hand me the urn stencil, Jill? Just the one that's packaged?
You know what the unpackaged one is, or you want the packaged?
Yeah, let's use that. Last week, we used a recycled Treasueres decoupage tissue, the one that's got a lot of rust and patina. And we used, excuse me, we used Royce's brand new urn stamp to stamp the image on the tissue paper, and then we cut it out. This is ready for our next step. So today, I'm going to show you an inspiration piece. Here's the inspiration piece. Now, this is something that I created at Recycled Treasueres away at college back in early August. We did a workshop in southeastern Arizona where we got to play with Royce's new stencils, the urn, and a couple of other designs on a decoupage background. So I'm going to create another version of this. Today we're working on a 24 by 24 inch wood panel. I'm going to use this image of the urn that we did last week. So today we're going to be painting our background and decoupaging our background and applying the urn. I'm going to switch over to let Jill be the big there. So now we're going to focus down here, Jill, on the project. It's so awesome to have good friends, and they don't come any better than Jill. It's awesome just to have good friends, but it's really, really handy when they come and help you with your videos and stuff too. My daughter, Stacy, who's also awesome, used to help me with these, but you know, she's got 2 little kids. She's got a full-time job. She just began door dashing. She's got all sorts of things going on in her life, and she can't always be here with me. Jill, on the other hand, also has a full-time job, a husband, 3 children, a teenage daughter. And sometimes, in my experience, when you have a teenage daughter, it's nice to have a place to get away. Now, Jill's
and husband.
Yeah, and husband. Jill's daughter is named Asana. She's a beautiful, lovely girl. She is not a typical, she's not the kind of teenager you generally want to avoid. She's very charming and personable, but still, we need a break from our beloved families sometimes, I think. I know I do.
Yes. Good place to spend my Saturdays.
So I'm just using a little shorty. This is I think it's a Worcester shorty from the home improvement store. And in preps for using decoupage in my background, I'm going to paint this. This is a 24-inch by 24-inch sandy plywood board. It's a 1/2 inch thick. Also came from home improvement store. I think I got it at Home Depot. Lowe's, Home Depot, any of those places is a good source.
What kind of paint are you using?
I am right now using Debbie's DIY paint in White Swan. So I carry Debbie's DIY paint in my shop, locally, and I ship. But you could use whatever you have on hand. But Debbie's paint is delightful. It's a clay-based paint that's nice and thick, and you see how beautifully it's covering this board. I just squirted some on, and I'm going to get the whole board covered in. This one is White Swan, so it's pretty darn white. But any light color, a white or an off-white paint, is typically what you want to have under decoupage when you're using, say, napkins, or what I'm using is Roycycle Treasueres decoupage tissue, because when we apply it, the tissue becomes transparent in areas, and you don't want to lose the beautiful colors that are in the decoupage design, which you would do if your background here was too dark. So we paint it white or off-white 99% of the time. That's what we want to do. Any of us creatives know that rules are made to be broken, but this is, generally speaking, what you want to do for your decoupage background. So, hi, Royce. Great to have you join us again. Hi, Joy Elizabeth from Calgary. It is wonderful to have you back. And Shannon, you are right. Mamas need time too. You can't be a good mom if you don't take the time to fill your own cup, right? I feel that right to my core. You can't be a good anything if you don't take the time to fill your own cup. Now, I'm going to be moving this computer because I have supplies underneath it. Nope, I don't need those yet. Put that back.
Which supplies are you looking for?
I am looking for my box of decoupage scraps. It's a black box.
It's right behind you.
It's right behind me. I'm sitting on it. Almost. Here it is. So, Roycycle Treasueres, my very, very favorite decoupage papers in the universe. When I use them, I save the scraps. Can you get that?
Pretty little box.
Yeah, decoupage scraps. So I have recycled papers in here. I also have some other papers that I printed myself, which is a fun activity we can maybe do together one day. Kind of using a gelatin print paper. Yes, pardon me, book pages. Book pages that have been printed using paints and inks. Love the effect you can get. I mean, there's the back side. That could play a part somewhere.
That looks like a good
I
Halloween.
love that. That looks like Halloween.
It does. It even
This,
has
I think, of a center of a sunflower or something like that. So we'll see. But then here's some Royce papers. What I'm going for today on my background is kind of light. I don't want the background to compete with the imagery that we're going to stamp on. So I'm looking for light colored, neutrally papers. This looks pretty good. That could play a part. I'm going to set that over there. Here's some darker from some of the wood trolley crate or maybe underwood crate. That could be in there too. So save your scraps, you guys. You don't want to lose any of this gorgeousness if you can help it. Those are Christmassy. This one has some script. Okay, we're going to grab some of those. Look at all these flying around. We got all sorts of things here. Ooh, look at that sweet little piece of a Lexi Grenzer unique floral.
There's some more.
Yeah, there's some more. I don't think they're going to play in this, but they're beautiful. So I'm going to close this up. Where did I put the other papers? I brought some more down. Oh, I'm sorry, Jill. I just dropped those right on her toes. If you were with us last week, you remember Jill was coughing and she just had a terrible case of congestion going on. Well, she and I are both feeling much better. We're putting those days behind us, right?
That's right.
We're putting those days of congestion behind us. Wiggle in the computer because I put some more decoupage tissue in here. So here's these guys. And I'm going to just start applying it now, even before my paint is completely dry. Nah, I'm not going to. I'm going to dry. While I'm drying, what do you guys want to talk about? Thank you, Royce. We are both feeling much better. I have to say, coming to your fabulous retreat, I got a little worn down, and this is the first time I'm feeling kind of human again since then. So, but you know what? Totally worth it. Totally worth it. I would do it again in a heartbeat. So I'm just using my handy dandy heat gun dryer. I wish it was quieter, but it is what it is. We're going to try to dry up this background as best we can. It's pretty wet still, getting that dry. And then start applying these tissues as the background for our gorgeous urn. I love the colors in that urn. So today's background and urn application. Next week, we're probably going to stuff the urn full of flowers and fruits and veggies. I'm so sorry.
Well, nice to all the pretty papers that you have to choose from.
Yeah, so now the speaker is, or the microphone's on the camera, so you have to talk above the sound of my noisy thing here. So Jill is pointing out just some of the gorgeous papers. These are all Recycled Treasures papers hanging up behind me. You want to take them over? Why don't you go over to the other side where it won't be as loud? They can see those gorgeous papers too. So I'm still here working and you're still, I don't know. She's showing you those, but I still have the noisy tool close to the microphone. Yeah, there is no shortage of gorgeousness in the Roycycle Treasures papers. And the designs, as beautiful as they are, I swear they get better every time there's a new release. So we're almost dry here. So Jill, point out the paper there that we used to stamp this urn. I see it. I think I see it under there. Is that it? I'm not sure if that's it, but that's close. If that's not the one, it's an example of another one that could be used for the. Yeah, there it is. That's the one we used to create this. Yeah, it's got those same beautiful coppery green patina, lovely. So I think I'm dry enough now to move to the next step. We're going to grab scraps. So I've used these for other decoupage projects already where I used bits and pieces that I chose. I'm not going to be too fussy here because we're going to cover a lot of this up. I do want to take away, I'm going to take the butterfly off because he's too much for what I'm doing now. He's too much of a focal point. I want to put him in an intentional area later. So right now I'm using Wise Owl varnish. Sometimes I use Debbie's DIY liquid patina. I kind of think that's my favorite decoupage medium at the moment for tissue and such because it's a little bit thicker than this varnish. But just to show you, you use what you have on hand. I am using the Wise Owl matte varnish to start applying this first coat of background design. So here it goes. I brought along a brayer. Thank you, Royce. I love my space too. It's amazing here. And it's made all the more beautiful because of the gorgeous Roycycle Treasures papers. So I'm just going to put these papers down. And just cover the whole entire background with these kind of warm golden shades. If you need help, we will be happy to help you. So yep, I'm just ripping things to fit. If it overlaps a little bit, that's okay. It just adds to the fabulousness, I think. If there's little places, I might cover them or I might paint them.
So with all the
I'm doing a live video on
Does
my.
she? Yeah, she has. I know she has cards somewhere, but she has a video channel that you can check out.
Yeah, there's cards on the right over there next to the jewelry tree. So we're just going to keep on keeping on with varnish and scraps and cover this entire background. I have learned not to overthink it because this is a background. And if I overthink it, I might become attached to something that I will feel bad about covering up later. And I don't want that to happen. And as a creative, as a creator, I like being surprised. So yes, I have a vision and I have some things in mind, but I like to co-create with the universe, not to sound too woo-woo or anything, but I like to definitely leave some things to chance so that when I'm creating, I can be surprised and I can be delighted by some of the things that happen. Sometimes I can be flabbergasted by sometimes I'm appalled by what happens. But whatever happens, creating art has taught me that whatever happens doesn't have to be the final frontier, you know? I get to make other creative choices, get to make other life choices. I don't want to be too preachy here, guys, but that's what creating art has done for me. It has helped me be more free in my regular life because, you know, there really aren't. I mean, if you set your mind to it, I guess you can make some pretty bad mistakes. You could be determined to make mistakes. But if you're trying not to and you're just trying to make the project work, make your life come out okay, and something goes wrong, well, you know what? You can fix it. You totally can fix it. And I 100% believe it either comes out the way I want or I learn something very valuable in the process. So I'm just going along, using my papers, keeping the tone of them for now pretty similar. It's kind of a neutral golden, what would you call it, Jill?
It's like a antique almost.
Yeah, it's got a little. If Carmen Dahmer were here, she would be using ink in vintage photo. She uses vintage photo inks to add patina to stuff. That's what this looks like, right?
It does
those
look like
old
a vintage photo or an old book.
So I am
The yellowing pages of an old book.
I'm putting some and they're overlapping, and that is totally okay with me. There's a broken key. I don't know. There's probably some deep symbolism going on there, right, Helen? Hi, Helen.
There's Helen. Say hi.
We are decoupaging our background
and Helen's
here.
picking out decoupage for her project.
Helen, tell people about what you're going to do. Come on, Helen, tell us. Show the paper.
I've got a desk that I took the top part off, so I've got something flat, not all this. So it's smaller and easier, and I have, you know, you just don't have big pieces when you get to my age, got all this furniture. So what's going on here?
So Helen, what's happening here is I am recreating a new version of this still life that I did when I was at Royce Cycle Treasueres retreat in Arizona. So the urn on that easel there is filled with a pumpkin and grapes and just lots of leaves and fun things. So that's what we're going to do here too. So right now I'm just creating an interesting background because I don't want a plain old white background. I want something just like that one has. Could you show that one again? So that started out the same way, but we were decoupaging there on paper. So we applied decoupage paper to plain white paper. And here I have taken my 2-foot square block.
What are you going to put in here?
I'm tearing up paper and I'm going to cover this whole thing with this paper in these tones that are all like vintage photo-y. So I'm using a Wise Owl matte varnish as my decoupage medium today. I'm laying them over the top of each other. So look at these bugs, kind of cool little bugs, right? I wouldn't like them if they were real bugs, but pictures of bugs I can handle.
We don't want them in our house.
No, we do not. Or our Airbnbs.
Right.
Jill has an Airbnb here in the St. Croix Valley. And she had a
Come and
guest.
visit. You can do a class with Liz and stay at my Airbnb.
Oh, that would be so fun. I think
Yeah.
in the near future, we should do a retreat at one of Jill's Airbnbs. We could get a group. How many people? I'm going to say women, but I guess it could be just people.
It's like 6, possibly 7. We have 2 bedrooms. We have a pull-out couch. And then in the lower bedroom, there's like a day bed that's more suited for like a child.
How fun would that be? I'm pretty childish. I could.
Are you short?
And I'm short. So I'm adding white in here. It doesn't go with the same tone, but I know that I can change that up. So I will probably tint this paper that is very, very white. I'll tint it with some off-white, or maybe I'll use that vintage photo ink and just keep doing this. And Helen, I'm doing it so I don't have a blank white canvas that I have to be afraid of. I have a working, interesting background. Here's some little pieces of ticking. And I'm just going really fast so as not to overthink. Overthinking is my enemy. Now, we all create a little bit differently. For some people, the joy of planning every step out is just that. It's a joy to do that. For me, I get stuck in my head and I become paralyzed if I try to think too much through things. This is interesting. Not even sure if this is a Royce paper. Go ahead, help yourself. Just don't rip my urn. That's the only thing I ask you to be careful about. Oh, the musical notes are really cool. Yes. So here's some more kind of in the same tone paper. And just adding it in here.
I do like that one. Is that a Royce?
This actually is an old Tim Holtz paper. So I bought a roll of that paper many years ago. It's probably not available on the market anymore, but I love it too. He must have taken his inspiration from Royce. You know Tim Holtz, who works with I forget the big company that he works with, but yeah, this is a gorgeous one too, with some newsprint in different sizes.
Musical notes.
So we'll probably throw some of that on there too. So it is okay to mix your decoupage papers. And even the ones that I printed, we could throw some of that in there, right? Why not? This is paper, Helen, that my granddaughter Alexis and we spent an entire weekend when I lived in a different house. I had a basement studio, and Alexis would hang out with me, and we would print on book pages or deli wrap paper or whatever. And when she was 5 or 6 years old, there was nothing we liked more than to hang out in the art studio making stuff. She's 15 now. She's about ready to get her driver's license. She plays volleyball on her high school. She's a sophomore in high school and plays volleyball. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to put a dark piece down here. So anyway, she still, I think, she still loves her grandma, but she doesn't have quite as much time to hang out with me. I'm probably going to have to wait till she's quite a bit older and maybe has her own children, and they'll come over and we'll print papers in the basement. I like that for the edges. What do you think?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Helen? You liking the dark on the edges?
It's all coming together.
Helen is very creative and artsy herself. I've been in her home and seen a lot of what she's done over a period of time, and it's amazing, beautiful work. So it's like I said earlier, right? It's great to have friends.
It's great to have friends.
It's great to have
Friends are
creative
good.
friends. It's great to have kind and thoughtful friends.
People that appreciate what you're doing.
People who appreciate what you're doing
Yes.
and understand why. Ooh,
Oh,
thank you.
where did
That's a
that come
beautiful
from?
spot.
And that find your tissue paper on the floor for you.
Yes. So I'm going to tear off a piece of this. Are we having any questions? Sue Murphy. Yes. Wouldn't a retreat be amazing? We should plan one. Maybe, I don't know for when. Let's
Maybe in
get that
winter,
going.
after Christmas.
Yeah, maybe something to do in the dark of winter here in Minnesota. We get half a dozen of us together. Did you see how that paint reactivated?
Oh, yeah.
I love that actually. I could say, "Oh no," but you know what? I'm not gonna. I'm gonna say, "Ooh baby, ooh baby, look how that happened." So that obviously was a water-based paint that wasn't permanent, and it has reactivated right there as I put this wet media on it. Wet medium. There. I think it is coming together nicely. And I actually like the lighter, like where this is white. I thought I would probably blend that in, but now I'm not so sure. I might leave it there for contrast. I will at least leave it that way for now. Because at any step in the process, I can go back and change the tint and the tone of that with some transparent media, water down my chalk paint, or use watercolor paint. Jill commented, was it you, Jill, who commented about all the different media we like to throw together here?
Mm-hmm. I love that. That's so when I first came to the store, I loved her multimedia
It's like,
approach.
why limit yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's many, there's many fish in the sea. There's many art supplies in the cupboard.
Especially Liz's cupboards.
So let's use them all. We'll use the
So
art
you can buy more.
supplies. Yeah, so we can buy more. If you're in the local area here, we are doing, I think I might have mentioned it, we're having a fall makers market, October 1 and 2. We're calling it not quite a barn sale because we were supposed to have a barn sale October 1 and 2, but turned out that the barn we were going to use was very full of bat poop, bringing new meaning to the term. I'll paraphrase, bat poop crazy. So that just isn't, it's not ready for prime time. We're planning a barn sale in the poopy barn in the spring,
In the spring.
after the barn's owner has had the chance to clean some of it out.
Which he will because he's having a wedding. So
That's right. His son is getting married in the spring. He's actually getting married in Italy. I tell you, people have such interesting lives, don't they? So his son is getting married in Italy in the spring, and then he's going to come back here to the St. Croix Valley for a wedding reception in his dad's barn. No, his dad's not a farmer. His dad is a lawyer. He's a lawyer who works upstairs. But he tells me that when he cleans out the barn of all the bat poop, he gets it all swept out and dried out, and he sells it to farmers as
fertilizer.
it's amazing fertilizer, according to Jim, who, although he's a lawyer, he's really more of a Renaissance man who knows more about just everything. He goes on dog sled races. He
goes camping in his, what's it called? What's that van that he has called?
a Sprinter van.
A Sprinter van.
He rehabs Sprinter vans. He uses them for a while and then he sells
Goes
them.
camping on big road trips and goes kayaking and
Yeah. And hunting and fishing and still the dog sled race. I mean, the guy does it all.
got a little piece down here.
And he's cute too, isn't he? I think he's kind of cute. I hope he's not watching. Jim,
He's outside the door. No, I'm just kidding.
that happened to me once when I worked in an office and there was a man and his name was Jay Soper. So if anyone knows Jay Soper, this was in Anchorage, Alaska. And I don't know, I was in my 20s and he was such a handsome man. And he went walking right by the door where my office was. And after he went by and I figured he's like 2 doors down the hall, he's down that way. I said to my friend across from me, I said, "Oh, that Jay Soper is such a handsome guy." And right when I said it, guess who walked right in the door?
Did he laugh?
Because he didn't continue walking.
Did he laugh?
He laughed and he said, "Liz, I owe you one." And I was like, "Oh my God, I'm so mortified." But now that I'm older, I'm sure it kind of made his day because he was probably 50-ish, 40, 50, I don't know. And I was 22. And I think being noticed and called out as such a handsome man by, it's not a bad thing. I'm sure
I work with, I'm a physical therapist. And I had a 95-year-old guy tell me I was cute yesterday.
Oh.
He's like, "You're just so cute."
Which reminds me.
I don't think you could see very well.
Well, you are adorable. You are very adorably cute.
Well, thank you, Liz.
But I want you to be careful out there because
I feel
this
inspired.
reminds me of, I don't think it was a joke. I think it was a story that I heard some years back where a young woman, she was a candy striper in a nursing home.
Mm-hmm.
And it was run by nuns. And there were many old people like this guy who told you were cute. And, candy stripers at their age, they think, oh, just a harmless old dude, I'm here to tell you, there are no harmless old dudes, ladies. And the nuns took this young candy striper aside and they said, he may be old, but he's not dead. And that is something I think is always good to remember when you're advising sweet young things that, that guy might look like your grandpa, but it's possible he doesn't have your best interest in his mind right now.
I can move faster than most of these people, a lot faster.
They may be old, but they're not dead. All right. I think we're almost done. What are you guys thinking? Do we still have bat poop is supposed to be the best fertilizer? That's what Jim told me.
Guinea pig poop is really good too, and chicken poop.
So I didn't want it in the middle of my barn sale, though, especially since we're going to have food vendors and
falling out of the rafters.
Yeah.
So he's walk through.
He's repairing the holes. He told me.
Hi.
Hi there.
Yes.
Well, you do now.
Awesome.
So welcome, and we'll. Yes.
I love your shirt.
Uh-huh.
That's cute. It's nice and bright.
I do love that shirt.
Yeah.
It's a busy day here in the valley.
It is. It's the flood run. So there's a bunch of motorcycles.
Can you want to back up? Can you back away?
There is a lot going on.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Want to
stop
be
by.
here?
Do you?
Let's put
Yeah.
you on my Facebook video. Would you
You
like to say
wanna say hi?
hello?
thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
What's your name?
Sherry. I'm
Sherry. I'm Liz.
I live in Lakeland.
This is my domain here.
I
I
have
live
girlfriends.
in St. Mary's Point.
You do?
I do.
My
It's
kids all played at the point.
okay, that's
My
like
daughters. Yeah.
a block down the street from me.
Yeah.
What is
And
your last name?
it's Dvorak. We've only been there like 5
Okay, then
years.
okay.
Yeah. We're newcomers to the area. We won't be accepted for 2 or 3 generations.
Okay.
Okay, well, good to know.
All right, great to
I
meet
get
you,
together
Sherry.
with my high school girlfriends
Yeah,
still all the time,
upstairs I
so.
have a classroom
Me
and
too.
workshop. I
Yeah.
do.
There's
Fun.
cards here somewhere. You want
You
to
guys
grab
have a
a
little,
card?
do you have a card?
2
Yes.
weeks we're having a big sale, a big outdoor market, Saturday, Sunday, the 1st and 2nd
October.
of October.
Oh, did you hear that? I lost my friend.
Oh, she's out
Here,
there looking at
I'm
stuff.
gonna do a little bit of this.
Starting.
Jill's helping our customers,
I
and
like.
it's
I
so
really
wonderful
like
to
their
have
salads. People, I
customers.
don't eat red
I
meat, but
just,
people say
they
their
also
burgers are
have
great,
really good
so
flatbreads.
Good to
Yeah.
know.
And if you like
Yeah.
Because
burgers,
they didn't have good food here before.
they have
They
a
told me
great
somebody who
patio.
did it.
Yeah, so
Yours?
somebody new owns it, and they have a great patio. I love
Oh my
their
gosh,
patio.
where's the card now? Am I looking here? Here.
yeah, and if you like burgers that are not like hockey pucks, just order a burger and tell them you just want it medium.
No, can't do that, but.
Okay, then go with the flatbread or the
So
salad.
no, they have a big sale.
So here we
2
have
weeks,
2
our
weeks,
2
finished.
weeks. Yes,
What
like
are
so
you
it'll be
making?
we'll
Is
be
that
outside
decoupage
and
like?
Yes.
yeah, using all this paper.
I'm decoupaging a background on, this is a 2 foot by 2 foot. I'm gonna hold it up, Jill. We're doing a
Alright.
live video on my Facebook
Yes,
page.
they
at
wanted
the
me to do
moment.
their Facebook. I said, no, thank you.
I didn't get you in there, don't worry.
Thank you.
So here's the background as it stands
Oh,
right
and there's the
now.
pants behind you. Yeah.
What do you think, ladies? Liking
That
it?
is cool. It's
So,
beautiful.
I mean, it's a piece of plywood.
Yeah, and you just hear different stuff
So
from.
this is her inspiration. She made this at a workshop. I'm sorry, I'm not
Wow.
on the camera anymore, but yeah.
Here, I will turn that
Woman in
one.
the camera.
That's
Woman in the
beautiful.
camera.
Well, we won't bother you because I know you're busy, but you might stop when I went up.
Yeah,
It's
stop.
really good.
Stop.
So we have the,
Yeah. It's good food.
there's the plywood, the back. That's what it looked like
Sit on
when
the
we
patio
got
for
started
walking.
today. Now we painted it white
This is what we have.
and we tore up scraps. I did not use a single brand new piece of paper here. These are decoupage scraps that some other human being might have thrown away, but not this one.
Right.
Not this human being. This human being knows
And everything can be reused.
everything
Almost.
can be reused,
Almost
even bat
everything.
poop.
Even bat poop.
Bat
I
poop
don't-
can be
I
put
don't
to
wanna
good
be
use.
the one to recycle bat
No.
poop, but it can be reused. I'll
So you
recycle
guys,
Roy's paper, but not
bat poop. Jim's gonna do that for
not
us.
bat poop.
So we are gonna put the urn on here. I don't
You doing this now?
know where. I am going to put the urn on now. Oh, and this is what I talked about, not getting too attached. I love this, but I think my urn is going to have to go over the top of it.
Yeah.
So
Especially if you're gonna
it
put
was
something
nice
in your
knowing
urn.
you, Green Stripe, but you're going to become just a part of this, the history of this piece. How do you like that?
Buried in your thoughts.
Buried
like
in our
it.
thoughts. I could off center it, but I don't think. I think I want
I
to
think you need
put
to
it kind of in the center, and then we will have stuff flowing out of it. So this is our piece we stamped last week. Once again, using the Roycycle Treasueres brand new urn stamp. I'm going to put a little more decoupage medium. I'm generous with my decoupage medium. Grab out this brush and dry it on my apron, which is why my aprons always look well loved. They are not precious, right? They're aprons. They have a job to do, and they do it well. All right, we're gonna put it on here like right. I see I ripped this, you guys. Is that gonna bother me?
No, that
No,
will
it
not
is
bother
not.
Liz.
It is not gonna bother me. We're gonna put it on.
She ripped it. She lost it a couple times.
I did. I
She-
left it. That's another reason it's good to have friends.
It's amazing it's here today.
They follow you around and they pick up your stuff and they say, "You left this laying around again." So there we go.
We lose our keys here a lot.
We do. We lose our keys.
We lose
We
our
lose
square-
our inhibitions.
There we go. There we go.
We lose our fear of making mistakes. What else do we lose here? Helen, what have you
The key
lost
thing
here?
is a little
Oh
frustrating,
gosh, don't get me in on that.
but because I do it too, I lose my keys. You lost your square thing. Your
I
square reader.
lost my square reader.
That thing's a little frustrating.
Hmm.
Inhibition. Okay, we'll go with that.
I like losing our fears and inhibitions
Yes.
about creating.
We just don't like losing our keys in our square reader.
Yeah, I don't want you to get the wrong idea. We don't lose our inhibitions so much that we create in the nude. We do not do that.
It's not that kind of a store.
We lose our inhibitions, but not our common sense.
You have to go across the bridge to Wisconsin for that.
That's right. We don't do that kind of thing here in the Minnesota St. Croix Valley. How's that
Beautiful.
looking, right?
Beautiful.
Royce, are you still out there? Yes, Royce says, I can't wait to see it with all the flowers. So I'm learning, you guys, how to build up a little suspense. I'm going to be like Dallas. If anybody's old enough to remember the TV show Dallas.
Oh, yeah.
This is going to be our cliffhanger. What time is it right now?
2:19.
2:19. So we've been on here for about 45 minutes. In that 45 minutes, we took this 2 foot by 2 foot plywood board and we painted it white and we dried it with our heat dryer. We decoupage this interesting background. I think it's very interesting background. I like the different whites and gold tones. There are tricks later on that we'll get to in cliffhanger number 3 or so to soften some of this if we think it is too competing with our focal points and stuff. But right now I'm loving it as a background. I love the browns and golds and whites. This urn that was cut from the decoupage tissue, the rusty and blue patinaed tissue, I think is gorgeous on there. So next week, in our continuing saga of the decoupaged urn, we are going to add, I think, let's go over here, grapes again. We'll add some grapes, sunflowers maybe.
It's fall.
Lots of
Go with the
leaves,
pumpkin.
pumpkins. So we got a lot of things. We're going to have a cornucopia of harvest goodness. Oh, but you know what, you guys? I won't be here next week. Unless I can, I'll try to pre-record a
And in 2 weeks
video.
is your sale, so you'll have to pre-record.
Yeah, I'll have to pre-record and not be here live. So let me get good at doing that so that I actually can do a video at 1 because it'll be pre-recorded and I can play it out there. Shannon, thank you. The colors with the urn, yeah, isn't that pretty? And the way the urn just, I just love it. I love the textures in there and that gorgeous blue.
I like how this guy got right there.
The yeah, and we didn't fuss about that.
Greenery,
I love
good.
the stamp that just happened to be right there.
And kind of that happened to be right next to it too.
Yep.
I like that.
I mean, we had to cover up our ticking, and that makes me a little bit sad. But for the next month or so, I'll remember it's there,
You didn't get it.
and then I'll probably forget. But you can't get too attached.
No.
Turned out nice.
I think it's looking good, and we did that in 45
Part 3
minutes,
is
right?
going to be pre-recorded because Liz has a big sale in 2 weeks. Next week we are both gone.
Yep. Next week's a family wedding in
Some
somewhere in
commitments, and I'm going
Wisconsin.
to a bunch of concerts, 2 concerts with my daughter, Greta Van Fleet. I'm actually excited to see them.
Yay! So, any last minute anythings? Thank you for the folks who stayed on and stayed listening. We love you. We love our creative friends and we love our Facebook followers. I'm going to make this big again so Jill and I can both be in the picture and say goodbye to you. Helen's back there too. Helen's still checking out new
She's
decoupage
shopping
tissues.
for her projects, and maybe she'll bring them in and show us.
I thought,
So
I thought
it's-
it was great. It turned out so nice.
Thank you, Helen. And coming from you, and you are a woman with a good eye for beauty. I do know that.
Oh, I don't know.
She is.
You've got
Don't-
a better eye than me.
Don't let her say
She
that.
is. She loves this store, and there's a lot of beauty in this store. So.
Well, so it's great. Great to spend time with you. Signing off. I'm going to reach over and hit end broadcast. Royce, you have a blessed weekend as well. And thank you for blessing us with your company. All of you guys, Deborah and Cynthia, Joy, Shannon, it's been real. It's been fun. It has been real fun. So love you all.